You know the feeling, right? You're in that big kickoff meeting, the energy's buzzing, and someone comes up with this absolutely brilliant idea. Everyone's excited. But then, fast forward a few months, and what happened to it? Poof, it just fizzled out. Well, what if we could finally close that huge, frustrating gap between a great idea and actually getting it done?
Yeah, this is the classic problem, isn't it? It's what we call the execution gap. So why do so many strategies, even the really good ones, just fall apart when it's time to actually do the work? It's kind of like trying to win a championship without a playbook. You've got all this talent on the field, but they're just running around bumping into each other. It's a recipe for chaos.
Okay, so let's get into the solution. It's a framework called AISPSE. That's AISPSE. Now, I want you to think of it like this. Imagine taking your old, dusty, static playbook off the shelf and turning it into a living, breathing operating system for your entire business. And the best part? It's all powered by AI agents that finally connect your big picture strategy directly to what gets done day in and day out.
And this image right here, it just perfectly lays out the whole idea. See, we're not talking about a straight line from idea to launch anymore. No, AISP is what's called a closed-loop intelligence system. Just follow the arrows here. See how the 4 phases, strategy, problem, solution, and execution are constantly feeding into each other? It's not some document you create once and then forget about. It's a dynamic, nonstop cycle that's always learning, always adapting, and always getting smarter in real time.
All right, so that's the loop. But before we dive into each of those 4 phases, we really need to pop the hood and see what's powering this whole thing. So what's the engine making all this possible? Well, that would be the AI agent stack.
So, what exactly is this AI agent stack? Well, the best way to think about it is like building a self-driving car. At the top, you've got the LLM capabilities. That's the brain, right? It's the super smart computer that understands the rules of the road and can spot patterns. Then you've got the AI agent capabilities. This is the body. It's what can actually turn the steering wheel, hit the gas, and take action. And finally, you have the control frameworks. These are the guardrails, the traffic laws, the GPS, everything that makes sure the car gets where it's going safely and efficiently, without ever straying from the mission we gave it.
Okay, so we've got our engine built. Now, let's get back to that 4-phase cycle. If the AI agent stack is the car, then this cycle is the road it travels on. It's the whole journey, from figuring out what's happening in the world all the way to actually getting stuff done.
Everything kicks off with phase 1, strategy, or as I like to call it, sense-making. Here, your AI agents become this incredible 24/7 research team that never sleeps. They are constantly scanning everything, your internal data, external market trends, what your competitors are up to, customer reviews, you name it. And they're using classic tools like Pestle and SWOT analysis to cut through all that noise and give you clear, actionable, strategic hypotheses.
And this right here, this is the whole game changer. Strategy becomes a living model, not a slide. Think about that for a second. This is the entire point. We're moving away from a strategy that's just a static PowerPoint deck that someone presents once a quarter and then gets filed away. Instead, it becomes this dynamic, living, breathing model of your business and the world around it, and it's being updated constantly, in real time.
So because you have this living strategy, the system can spot trouble instantly, the second things start to go off track. And that brings us to phase 2, the problem phase. This is all about diagnosis. The AI agents here use something called chain of thought reasoning. It's awesome. Think of it like a super thorough detective who follows every single clue to find the real root cause instead of just grabbing the first easy suspect. This is so important because it stops us from making one of the biggest mistakes in business, solution jumping. Where you waste a ton of time and money fixing the wrong problem.
All right, so we've nailed down the real problem. Now what? We move into phase 3, the solution. The main goal here is to take all the gut feelings and human bias out of the equation. The AI agents become these totally objective, quantitative evaluators. For example, they can run a decision matrix to score a bunch of different options against your actual strategic goals. Or they can do a force field analysis to figure out what forces are going to help a solution succeed and which ones are going to try to stop it. It's all about making the smartest, data-backed choice.
Okay, we have the best solution picked out. Now it's time to actually make it happen. And welcome to the final phase, phase 4, execution. This is where the AI agents really shine, acting like autonomous project managers. They take that decision and turn it into a living, breathing execution plan. They can use frameworks like MOSCO, must have, should have, could have, and won't have, to perfectly prioritize the work. But here's the real magic. They are watching everything in real time. If they spot a delay or a problem, they don't wait for a meeting. The plan gets adjusted automatically, right then and there.
So, we've just seen how these AI agents can basically fly through these 4 phases on their own, right? Going from insight to action at a speed we can barely imagine. But that probably brings up a big question for you. How do we keep them on track? How do we make sure they don't go rogue and are always working towards our goals? Well, that is where the operating system part comes in.
And honestly, this is where it all comes together. The genius here is that we aren't trying to reinvent the wheel with some brand new crazy management theory. No, AISPES is smart. It takes the battle-tested business frameworks you probably already know and uses them as the rules for the AI. You've got the Balanced Scorecard setting the big picture vision. You've got OKRs driving focus on what actually gets done. DMIC making sure the process is solid. And the A3 report keeping everyone on the same page. It's the perfect marriage of proven human wisdom and relentless machine intelligence, all working together in one seamless control loop.
Okay, let's just zoom out for a second. We've gone through the whole cycle, we've seen the engine. So what's the bottom line? What's the real payoff of shifting from the old way of doing things to this new, living system?
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at the old way. It's linear, it's static. You do some analysis over here, then you try to do some execution way over there. The two are totally disconnected, and your strategy documents are basically obsolete the minute you print them. But now look at the AISPSE way. It's a continuous cycle. It's adaptive. Analysis and execution aren't separate departments anymore. They finally come together. Your strategy stops being a document and starts being your living, breathing, operational intelligence.
And I know exactly what you're probably thinking right now. Okay, this is great, but what about us? What about the people? Are we all out of a job? And the answer is a huge, emphatic no. This doesn't make humans obsolete, it actually makes our role more important. The key thing to get is this: we stop being the people buried in spreadsheets, crunching numbers all day. Instead, we become the architects of the whole system. Our job shifts up to setting the high-level vision, making those really tough judgment calls, and most importantly, leading our people. This isn't about replacing humans. It's about finally freeing us up to do the work that only humans can do.
So I'm going to leave you with this one final question to really chew on. What becomes possible for you, for your team, for your entire organization, when that lag, that maddening, frustrating gap between having a brilliant insight and actually acting on it, what happens when that just disappears? What could you really, truly achieve then?